Welcome to CoatingsCast, the ultimate podcast dedicated to the science, art, and innovation of liquid and fluid applied roofing, coatings for surfaces, and waterproofing. It's time to roll up our sleeves, put on our lab coats, and dive headfirst into the world of liquid protection that keeps your roofs and surfaces in prime condition. The future is here, and it's liquid, so don't miss out. This is CoatingsCast, where every drop counts in the world of roof and surface protection.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CoatingsCast from Coatings Coffee Shop. My name is Karen Edwards, and today's conversation is going to be all about high-performance concrete floor coatings. And joining me for this conversation is Ryan Zabel from Arizona Polymer Flooring. Ryan, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Karen. How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you. I'm looking forward to this conversation because this is a subject that I don't know that much about. But I love to learn about new things and, we'll get this conversation rolling. But before we do, how about you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and what you do there at APF.
Thank you. So my name is Ryan Zabel. I've been in the industrial coating industry for almost 20 years now. This is all I've done my entire life. This is all I know, and I really love what I do, and I enjoy my job. So my current title is technical sales. We'll say that. And I think it really allows me to be the go-to person for contractors, architects, engineers, anybody that needs training, anybody that wants to get more familiar with our products. I'm the GOAT. I'm the OG. I'm the only one that's been here for, a dedicated time period. And I have most of the answers, or I'm at least capable of finding most of the answers if we need them or when we need them.
Yeah, wow. That's a long time to be in the industry, and you must have started when you were about 10.
So I started when I was 20. I wasn't even, I wasn't allowed to drink with people or anything like that. So they're like, how old are you? They thought I was out of high school,
Yeah.
which not far from it, but I wanted to get into an industry that I knew was going to always have my back and always be there. Floors aren't going anywhere. Everywhere we go, there's always a floor that needs to be addressed, updated, installed, maintained, all that good stuff.
Right. So, concrete is a product that you see used in a lot of flooring applications, right? I mean, it ranges from all kinds of buildings, indoor, outdoor. What are some of the reasons or the considerations when working with a concrete floor for coating it and sealing it and waterproofing it?
Absolutely. So aesthetics or the desired appearance, I would say, is probably, the very first thing that I bring up. When people say, "Hey, I want to get my floor done," or "We're having an issue with the floor." Okay, what's going on? What do we have? And the things that we want to achieve would be durability, slip resistance, UV resistance, chemical resistance, and a floor that is easy to maintain and easy to clean.
Yeah, those are those are all desirable features. Um, I'd like to talk about new construction a little bit and what contractors should be thinking about in terms of when it's brand new, and then maybe we can focus a little more too on like that restoration and redo.
Absolutely. So on brand new concrete, the idea of coating brand new concrete is that we are protecting the investment of the concrete. Is it a requirement to seal or prime or coat the concrete? No, but we want to really take care of our investment and protect our investment. So that's why I always recommend at bare minimum a primer, a sealer, like our Poly 600. That's a great, inexpensive, easy to use product. And I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit more that,
Yeah.
comes in clear, comes in pigmented, comes in gloss, comes in low gloss. And it really allows that protection level of the investment with new concrete.
Okay. So I guess determining what aesthetic is probably where you start that conversation when a building's being built and designed, right?
Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, the appearance is very, very important. And that's usually what we start with. And then we can bring in the durability, the slip resistance, the chemical resistance, depending on, what the environment's going to be. Then we can make product recommendations that are going to hold up to any type of environment that the floor is going to be exposed to, floors and walls.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So do you work a lot with, the architect or the specifier when they are are your products such that they, "Oh, yeah, we know we want the P600 and we want it in this color," or do you help a lot with making those decisions?
I would say it's probably a little bit of both at the end of the day, or a two-step approach. So absolutely, we go after, the architects, the engineers to try and spec our products for new builds or renovation work and things like that. Um, that would probably be the first step. The second step is going in with the general contractors or the subcontractors that see the spec and say, "I don't think this product is the best recommendation that is on the specification. So Ryan, what's your thoughts? What would you put on this floor that is going to be exposed to high temperatures, hot water, high impact, heavy loads?" And that's when, we would make a recommendation for a more, I would say, a more of a durable floor that is focused on impact resistance, chemical resistance, instead of a aesthetic pleasing floor like a flake floor or a basic grind and seal or a overlay with a stain and a seal on that.
So the use how the floor is being used is really a big determining factor in what is the best solution.
Correct. Absolutely. For dog kennels, for example, we get a lot of calls for dog kennels. And I learn something new every day. That's why I like being in this industry. I didn't think about the floor needed to be a certain slip resistance so the dogs would not slip and fall when they're running around, but it also cannot be so aggressive that it will tear and cut their paws. So we have a system that has worked very well, and that's what I recommend for most dog kennels and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's the end user's decision. Do they want a little bit of texture in the floor to ensure that people aren't slipping and falling and things like that, or do they want this floor as smooth as possible? That allows the floor to be easily cleaned and maintained. So I give the options and the recommendations.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta find that happy medium because safety has to be a consideration.
A must. Safety is a priority. Safety never takes a holiday. Once somebody slips and falls, or even an animal slips and falls and hurts themselves, that's a lot of people like their animals more than their children. You better take care of the animals when they're in there. And I go into some of these facilities, and I mean, I would sleep in there and eat off the floors.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, what the P600 system is. It's a finishing coat, right?
So very, very good question, Karen. We have formulated this product to have great abrasion resistance, UV resistance, and great adhesion direct to concrete. So this is a game changer for us. We do recommend that Poly 600 can be applied directly to concrete, clear or pigmented. And I have over 50,000 square feet installed as a case study, indoors and outdoors. So it could be utilized as a direct to concrete product, utilizing our epoxy 100 as a primer, or you could go two coats, and that's probably what I would recommend for a exterior application, two coats of poly 600, clear or pigmented, and then we really formulated that product as a final top coat, to your point, over our decorative systems, our flakes, our metallics, our overlay systems, our grind and seal systems. And that's, a very big opportunity for that product in those spaces.
And that can be used, the same product, whether it's indoor or outdoor. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Now, it does have some limitations because it is a water-based polyurethane. So I just spoke with one of my contractors and installers up in Michigan. I said, make sure it's protected and in a heated truck. It's not outside. You don't want it to freeze.
Yeah.
that's going to mess with the chemistry and the stoichiometry of the product. So as long as it doesn't freeze, you're good to go.
The
And
chemistry
you can apply
and the what was that other word you said?
the chemistry and the stoichiometry, when they link together, it's just a term that I've learned being in the R&D lab. So when you throw some of those words out there, people, really
I
try and pay
know. I was
attention
like,
to you, and they're
"Whoa,
like, "Oh,
we're getting in stoichiometry." Was that it? All right, I learned
yep,
a
you
new
got
word
it."
today. That's awesome. Okay, so if somebody's listening to this podcast and they are curious to learn more about concrete floor and coatings, how should they go about that? Maybe they don't offer that in their business. Maybe they're doing different kinds of contract work and they're like, we want to start doing floors. How does APF help someone get started?
Understood. So the first thing I would recommend is picking up the phone. I'm a great free resource that can be utilized. I will point you in the right directions. I'll usually take about 10, 20 minutes of somebody's time. I try and keep it short and sweet, and try and identify what their needs, what their wants are. And then our website, our new updated APF website, is a great tool for people to utilize as a resource. Color charts, system application instructions, product data sheets, and etc. So that would be two things that I recommend right up at the beginning. And then the third, once we identify exactly what the wants and needs are, is I travel West Coast to East Coast. My boss does as well, and we are in charge of national trainings for distributors, contractors, and then let's just say there's individuals that do want some type of specific training. We hold trainings at our new updated training center in Phoenix, which is really cool. We just did the floors there. Huge 80-inch TV. I mean, it's very, very modern and up to date. And then we're working on getting the same setup down in Sam Houston, Texas as well. So we have two training facilities that we usually have a training every quarter, give or take. And then if there is somebody specific that would like some type of product training, I can head on site. I can go to their shop, whatever it takes to get them comfortable using our products.
What are some of the, I like, tips and tricks for success? What are some of the challenges that you see contractors have when it comes to, installing the products and getting it right? Are there little nuances or things to think about, like you mentioned in the case of temperature in Michigan, right? Keep the product warm. What about during the installation?
Understood. So, working with a new product, I have guys that have been doing this longer than I've been alive,
Mhm.
and they haven't ever used our product, but they've used similar products. And they go out on a job that is paying very good money, and they expect that the product is just absolutely perfect and it reacts the same way as a competitor's, and it's apples to apples, oranges to oranges. My point is I always recommend using the material on a sample, on a demo area, doing a mock-up before you actually try to achieve the application work. Because once the product is down, it is very hard to remove. The new chemistry, the stoichiometry of this product
Yeah.
gives it superior abrasion resistance. I had a contractor that missed a recoat window and he wanted to put on a second coat. And so he went back to sand it and degloss it so he could put on a second coat of the Poly 600. And he said, Ryan, this product is so hard, I'm not even able to sand it. What am I
Yeah.
going to do? And I said, well, we've got to get. He was using the scrub pads, and I told him you've got to get like a 60 or 80 grit sandpaper and actually use an abrasive sandpaper to remove the gloss off of that 600. So
Wow.
he was so impressed with that product once he learned how to work with it properly. Because that
Mhm.
first time he used it, he says, Ryan, it just wasn't perfect. I said, I agree with you. So my recommendation is do a mock-up, do a demo, make a sample before you go on the floor. So so the installer or the contractor is totally comfortable and confident in how
Right.
this project is going to react and how he's going to apply it properly. Another trick is, this product was formulated to minimize roller lines in high-end metallic floors, which we've achieved that. But some installers still want to leave wet roller marks on the floor and expect not to see them the next day when they come in. So a crosshatch, north, south, east, west is what I always recommend as a finish roll for any top coat, but especially for Poly 600. And
Yeah.
as long as you don't see any wet roller lines, that floor is going to be like new money the next day you
Wow.
walk in. Yes, people are very impressed with that product.
Yeah, so we talked about new construction, but let's talk about redoing existing floors. Is the Poly 600 still an ideal choice, or does it really depend on what the existing floor is, right? What it's got on it, right? What's that look like?
Gotcha. So one of our case studies before we released this product, again up in Michigan, and it was at a screen printing company, and there was a bunch of stains on the floor from the previous coating. So we did a mock-up. We let it sit for 3 weeks, a month, something like that. There was no staining. So they were very happy with the mock-up. And then we went in and it was currently stained epoxy, I want to say, because of all the screen prints that they do and stuff like that. So we cleaned it really well. We abraded the surface and then we top coated it with the P600 pigmented gray over an existing coating, and they loved it. It
Yeah.
transformed their space instantly. They started doing 5,000 square foot sections at a time, and now they're over 50,000 square feet at this facility.
Wow. Yeah. So, what's the cure time, I guess? Like if you mentioned a printer, are we going to take a look at their warehouse and maybe do it in sections? And then how long does it take till they can put equipment back or walk on it?
Smart question. So yes, typically on a large scale job, we're doing sections so we can keep production going. It does have a odor, but it's not an odor that is gonna clear out an occupied space. It is a VOC friendly. We can use this product from West Coast to East Coast, and if you can use it in California,
Yeah.
typically you can use it anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very user friendly product. And that's why I recommended it for this facility. At the end of the day, they were very happy with the cure times. So typically 6 to 8 hours, and it's going to be dry to touch. Then you can come in the next day and you can walk on it if needed. So people can start, putting things back in, starting to move equipment. I usually give it about 3 to 5 days, or at least make sure everything is on moving wheels. You hate to scratch up a new floor or something like that. So six
Yeah.
to 8 hours, dry to touch. You can walk on it next day, and then fully chemical resistant is going to be about 3 to 5 days, depending on your temperatures.
Okay. Now you did mention the smell, but it's VOC friendly. Does the work area require ventilation during the process?
I always recommend ventilation, and typically any building that's going to have decent HVAC, that will be sufficient. There are some people that don't deal with resinous flooring coatings on a day-to-day basis, and they're a little bit, I would say, sensitive to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Getting some fans, opening a couple doors, or putting a fan in a window or something like that, and just getting good positive airflow, we shouldn't have any issues or any complaints whatsoever.
Okay. So the applicators don't have to wear any special, y- you know, PPE.
Respirators?
Yeah. Yeah.
To each its own. I truly feel like I've allowed myself to get a little overexposed throughout my time. So I'm personally a little sensitive. So
Yeah.
let's say if it's we're not doing a big 5,000 square foot area. Let's say we're doing a 500 square foot bathroom. It's enclosed. They only have one little fan in there, no windows. I'm going to throw on a respirator just for
Yeah.
my safety. And I always recommend our applicators, our contractors have a respirator in the truck or handy if needed.
Yeah.
I don't have to, they don't have to wear it. I don't have to make them wear it, but at least give them the opportunity to have a respirator if they need it or want it.
Okay. You mentioned rollers and roller marks. Are there other ways to apply these products? Like if it's a super large, space, are there spray options or is it pretty much all rolled?
Smart questions. To be honest with you, I have pretty much just stuck with the brush and roll. Now for large areas, and I mean even smaller areas, it just depends on the contractor. Squeegees are usually a very good tool, notched squeegees, so you can control the thickness of the material that you're putting down. So it's the material is in a 2-gallon kit, for example, and we're going to run it at 300 square feet per gallon. We're going to get 600 square feet out of that kit. So I usually pre-measure as well, 600 square feet each kit. We know exactly what our square footage is. We can use a flat squeegee or a notch squeegee, and that's going to apply the material at a certain thickness. Then we come in and back roll it, and we're good to go. So it's a very simple and easy process for people that are experienced with it. It's just getting, I hate to say the newbies or the rookies, but people that don't have experience with it on larger spaces, that's when I can come in and try and help a little bit and make a little bit more of efficient application during the day.
Right. Yeah, you answered my question I was gonna ask next was how is it packaged? What's it come in? You 2 gallons, the kits, and, because part of a successful installation is efficiently planning out how you're gonna do it and, defining those sections and areas and how you're gonna work so you don't get stuck in the corner, right?
Exactly. That's no bueno. That's no good. You've always got to be thinking ahead. That's where my mentors have told me you've got to be one step ahead, Ryan. And that's where making sure, again, like you said, if we're gonna have to have proper ventilation, if we need cleanup material. Now, this being water based, you really don't need any solvent for cleanup. It's a water-based product. You just use water for cleanup. So that's another thing. If you're in the middle of nowhere, as long as you have some water, you can apply this product with no issues and
Yeah.
clean up.
Nice. Okay. So I know that if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, I really do I want to check this out. I think I want to get involved and I want to see it firsthand. We've got World of Concrete coming up in a month, right? So tell to us a little bit about what you're going to be doing there and what someone could experience.
Absolutely. So we will be demoing the Poly 600 in gloss and low gloss, and we can utilize that product as a top coat typically all over all of our decorative applications, from our metallics, our flake, um, a standalone product for grind-in seals. I mean, it's a very versatile product, and they'll be able to get to the people that would be interested in coming to see it will be able to check it out. I believe our booth number is 031609, and we should be doing demos at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So anything in between there, I should be at the booth or around. So if there's any other questions, concerns, if somebody wants to see a custom mix, it is a 3-to-1 ratio product. So it's a gallon and a half of A with a half gallon of B. And we priced it this as a 1.5 gallon kit. So it really is a value that we're giving people because we're really giving free material away to promote this product and show that it is a superior water-based urethane compared to the competitors.
Wow, yeah, okay, and you're I just looked it up to make sure it was right. It's 031609, um,
Okay.
in the silver lot, so you're outside?
Yes, ma'am. We are outside. I've been doing that for the last 7 years now, so this should be very impressive for our current customers, new customers, or anybody that just wants to come check it out. It's going to be a nice booth, and then we're going to be doing live audio demos as well.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to, get by your booth because Coatings Coffee Shop is gonna be in the lobby, yeah, doing some interviews, so we'll have to have you guys come visit us and get you on our sound stage, and then we'll have to come out and get some video footage of your demos. I'm sure that's gonna be exciting. You said 10 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Pacific.
Yes, ma'am, and things might change. Ryan, that helped us out a lot before our meeting. I think he's going to be the one in charge of everything and finalizing everything. So if something changes, I'll let you know. But for right now, that is what the game plan is: 10 and 2, and then again, anything in between. If somebody walks up and they want to see something, we can go over it. I can make a mix real quick as well too.
Sure, yeah, and we've got all the information, about what's gonna be going on at World of Concrete on coatingscoffeeshop.com, so, you can check in, a week or so before the show and just see what's happening and what times. I mean, it's a big show, so you definitely wanna plan ahead and figure out where you're gonna go and what you're gonna do, and one of those should be, going out to the Silver Lot to see APF.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you, Ryan, for being here today. This was a really interesting conversation, and I'm looking forward to seeing the product in person, as I hope all our listeners are as well.
Thank you. And if I can do anything for you, let me know. And whenever you need a resinous floor coating, you just let me know, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening to this episode. We encourage you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform because we want to see you on a future episode of CoatingsCast. Hope to see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this coating adventure. Stay tuned for more episodes, and in the meantime, be sure to follow us on social media to stay updated with all things roof coatings. Until next time, stay coated. For more information, go to coatingscoffeeshop.com.